Okay, everybody, today's going to be a quick video on how to do the startup screen on the T-Berd so that it starts up on the last screen you were left using instead of coming up on the default DS1 Bert test that it does when it first starts. And I want to show you how to get rid of that DS1 Bert test from starting up every time, and how to make sure that the program that you want to start up starts up instead of the DS1 Bert. So we're going to go ahead and connect to the T-Berd, and I have it set up to where it's exactly like it is when it first comes out the box. This is the first screen that you're presented with, and as you can see back here in the background is this Bert test running, and it's the most aggravating thing because the first thing you want to do is turn it off, and because you're like, I didn't start this test, why is it running? It just seems to have a mind of its own. So here's what the deal is, and that is that when the T-Berd first powers up, it's going to start some program. It does not have an option for just coming up, not starting a test, and then you initiate a test. You have to initiate some kind of test. Now you can choose which test it is that it starts, but it does have to start one. And if you choose nothing, and if you turn it off without a test running, when it starts back up again, it will choose the first test available, which just so happens to be a DS1 Bert test. You can see from this screen here. So that's just the order, and that's the way it starts. And this is where you get into big trouble if you click this X up here and close that test out. That's what took me hours to figure out, the trick to get rid of the DS1 Bert test. So I'm just going to go through it here and show you each screen, and it's pretty quick. Once you do it, you never have to do it again unless you accidentally forget to keep the test running when you shut it off. And then you'll remember, because when it comes back up, the good old friend DS1 Bert will be back again. So here's how you get rid of this, and to make sure it remembers the screen you're on. So you come up here, and we're going to click on the plus tab, and you're going to see it's going to be launching a new screen kind of next to it. And lo and behold, you have this remarkable new button that you can now use, called Remove Test. So we're going to come over here and we're going to remove test, and we're going to get rid of that nasty DS1. And it's going to get through it, get out of there. Now this is the point where you have no running test. And if you tried to turn it off and turn it back on, DS1 Bert will come back. So what you need to do is you need to pick the test that you want, your default test that you want to come up. In this case, I'm going to choose the Layer 2 standard 2544 test. So I'm going to go ahead and initiate this. And we'll let this come up. Now, in this particular test, the 2544, the one that we actually use is the enhanced 2544, which is this button over here. It comes up starting out running this, and you can see it's already running. We're at 10 seconds here. I'm going to come over here and stop it, although it's not necessary. But anyway, it started doing its own little test, which is essentially the standard 2544. And all of these different configurations, everything under the setup here, address that particular test. But we're not doing that. We're going to be using the enhanced, and it's got its own. It starts back from the beginning with its own features. I'll show you here after you go into it. It's got its own spot to where you don't have to go through all that stuff in the setup screen on the first one, because you're going to go through it again. And this is a spot where you would go in and do all the configurations. Now, if you're a remote unit and you got a guy at the other end who's running the test, this is as far as you need to go. You've done your bit. Once you've launched and got to this part, when the other end comes to initiate the test, this one will go into the obedient loop mode, and it'll do whatever the other end tells it to. And no matter what you have going on any of your configuration screens after this, these only apply to if you're going to be the one to initiate the test. But this is as far as you need to go if you're just the donor on the loop donor on the other end. But anyway, let's go back over to here and look at our normal screen here. And as you can see, these are our ways back between these two screens. This is how you get back and forth. This is essentially a test underneath this bigger thing right here. And because this is really the screen that you want to come up, you don't want that quick launch, because you're wanting to get to this button, and you can't get to this button from that screen. So if you want it to start up showing the results screen here, what you do is you come over to your tools and you come up to customize, and you change your startup view from quick launch to results view. Okay, and then you go close, and now it'll remember that. It'll remember, hey, I don't want to go into that other one. I want to come up into this screen. And once you are at this spot, now if you shut the T-Berd off, when it powers back up, it's going to come back to here. It won't come back up with that stupid DS1 Bert test. So to watch it in action, I'm going to go ahead and hit the power button over here. And yes, I had to walk to it because I'm operating wirelessly, because that thing's so loud. And here we go. We're going to go ahead and reboot. And we're going to drop our session out here. When the Smart Access Anywhere software realizes it's, and there it is. And here's your VNC failure, letting you know that it's gone bye-bye. So we're going to come over here. We're going to come over to session. We're going to disconnect. And I'm going to pause the video and let it reboot back up, because it takes a long time to do a reboot. So stand by and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back, and it's back up. It's rebooted. I want to reconnect to it here and see what we got. And there it is. Goodbye, DS1 Bert test forever. I hope I never see you again. So, yeah, so here we are back up. And just one bonus item that I tripped upon while messing around on these screens is this. It's got a really cool little cable checker, and I'll show you. I'll show you a demo here real fast. What I have is like two 14-foot patch cables with a RJ45 breakout in between them, and I have pins 1 and 2 shorted on that breakout thing. And I'm just going to show you on the distance test here how it'll figure out how long it is, and it'll show you that it's got a short on it. It's just kind of cool. So here we go. Boom. And it shows you that it was It's like 6 meters, and that pair number one's got a short on it at halfway. So really cool test. I'll and it's also you can loop it. As you can see, this is a open-ended test. Plus, it's got if you can loop it all the way back, it can test the entire cable. Here, I'll show you. I'll go ahead and loop it. And I removed the short. So let's reset it here and launch again. And it's doing a test in progress. It's taking a long time too. And here we go. And what did I do? Uh-oh, what did it say? Pair test failed, unable to establish Ethernet link. Oh wow, we'll check it out. Well, that's maybe I plugged it in too. Oh, I know why. Oh, and hey, great chance for a learning opportunity here. So it's not doing the other side because I don't have a test running on port number 2. So if I come over here to port number 2, I can launch a test on it. And let me go Ethernet, and I'll go there to traffic, and there we go. All right. Yeah. Hey, this is, like I said, it happened to me before when I did it the first time. I should have remembered, but it's okay because it'll allow me to show you another cool thing here. So as you can see, here's the key. This is where you got to look when you're doing these things. So this is showing you that you're looking at port 2, which is essentially a completely different T-Berd. Almost, it's like its own independent thing on the other side. So now if I go back and I change to the other port, I'm back into this test again. Now let's see what happens if I try and test the cable. Hey, passed. Look at there. And it even it tells you that it checked each group of pairs to make sure it worked. So that's a pretty cool feature. And like I said, it allowed me to show you one other thing, which is now you see I got the port 1 test going and the port 2 test. If I powered down at this point and powered back up, both would come back. Both ports would come back the way they were. So there you go. That's the big demo. Hope that helps. Thanks.